How's it going, guys? Nathan here. Today we are going to be doing a trans femme tier list. Specifically, we're going to be looking at a Euphoria tier list. All of the good feelings, as many of us say, well, being transgender does come with a lot of dysphoria. Once you are on the proper medication and you're achieving those goals, a lot of good comes out of it, and a lot of things make you smile, make you happy, make you feel affirmed. So today we're going to be looking at this tier list and kind of getting my reaction out of it. So let's hop straight in. Now, if you see me put my laptop straight to my face, I am blind as a bat, but I do not like wearing my glasses. Well, not on video. So you're going to see me do that a lot. Okay, first one that we're going to be discussing is going to be smooth skin. Now, automatically, for me, smooth skin is going to go on the A ranking, which is shut up, let me enjoy this. The one thing that I love about smooth skin is that this is, I think, especially if you're someone that hasn't really done a lot of investigating on, well, what are the actual differences between men and women? We all know that, yes, women have breasts and, a lot of their fat is stored in their hips, in their bottom, things like that. But their pores, the way that like HRT makes you have like nicer skin as a whole, it makes your skin smoother. And if you have acne, it can help with treating that completely. I'm not gonna lie, before I got the smooth skin when I started HRT, it did come around, I think, month 2 or 3. But before that, I did begin breaking out, almost like my body was adjusting to that hormone imbalance. So I had some pimples on my forehead. Freaked me out a bit. But I think that when you don't really know the differences, like the little differences between men and women, this is one that catches you off guard of how different it feels. I've said the first time I noticed that my skin had changed, I was rubbing my eyelids and it felt like when, let's say you have a friend and they're trying to show you something in their body, so they grab your hand and you weren't expecting, they're like, oh, look, feel this. And you initially like joke back like, oh, okay, you're giving me permission to feel your skin or whatever. It was almost like that when I touched my skin. I was almost like, oh, like that instinctive, this is someone else's body, this is not mine. And I thought that was like such a cool memory. On top of that, I was sleeping probably a couple nights ago and I was like half asleep, half awake, in the middle of the night because Spiral makes me pee a lot. And I remember I was feeling my hands and I just got this rush of euphoria while I was like half asleep, half awake because of how smooth my hands feel. So this to me is one of the changes that I love the absolute most and really makes a difference. I mean, when it comes to face changes, I think a lot of it has to do with just how your skin looks. It looks a lot healthier. And I've been getting so much compliments from like female coworkers, like saying that, oh, you have the most, like the cleanest face I've ever seen, or things like that, where it's like I don't have blemishes or whatever. And I tell them, I'm honest with them. I was like, they're like, oh, what do you put on? But I'm like, honestly, it's not anything I put on. First and foremost, I have to give all the credit to my medication. But if you take care of it with basic skincare, it's a game changer. Okay, next one, long nails. I'm sorry. If you're someone that likes to express their femininity through long nails, completely fine. I think they look beautiful. I'm a coach. There's no way that I'm going to be rocking long nails. They're going to break. It's going to hurt. And on top of that, I am gender fluid. So for me, long nails is something that I really don't care about. That's why I put it at, it just ain't me, chief. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with if you do like doing that to express your femininity. It just means that it isn't my form of expression. The only time I would grow my nails is maybe if I was like playing guitar a lot and I wanted to do fingerstyle with the acoustic guitar, then maybe. But I'm not a long nail person. All right, let's see which one makes sense. Accidental misgendering. I was like, it's borderline, yes, I made the right decision, and shut up, let me enjoy this. For me, again, being gender fluid, regardless of how I look, I don't pass because I usually try to always speak first. I don't want to know whether or not people are reading me as a guy. So I'll walk in with my deep voice, but when I do get misgendered, when I do get a compliment saying I'm really pretty or, oh, you're so beautiful, things like that. And obviously, like if you're on dating apps, dudes be doing the most. So things like that. But in person, when I get accidentally misgendered, it is like, shut up, let me enjoy this, because it doesn't happen too often. I think that the funny part is when I first started transitioning, it would happen a lot. Even before I got on HRT, I would get misgendered a lot. But ironically, now that I've been on HRT for close to 10 months, I rarely get misgendered. Everyone reads me as a dude, which is okay. I feel like I have found an inner sense of femininity. I don't really need that validation. And I don't do anything to pass in person. Like, I don't wear makeup and I don't wear feminine clothing. So I'm fine with it. But if it does happen, holy shit, it is like, yeah, shut up. Let me enjoy this. Dresses and skirts. This is, again, in between shut up, let me enjoy this, and yes, I made the right decision. The way that I discovered I was trans, I had bought a cheerleader dolls kill outfit, and when I put it on, I remember looking in the mirror, and the first time I saw that feminine person in the mirror, the feminine side of me, that had always been there, and that shit freaked the fuck out of me. Like, I took the clothes off. I was like scared of what I had seen. Because deep down inside, I knew that once I saw that person, once I saw that, I envisioned a whole life of what could be, and there was going to be no turning back. That being said, even till this day, when I do express my femininity, it's in my room, it's when I'm dressed up, taking photos for dating apps, whatever it may be. And honestly, that's like the closest I feel to feeling externally valid with my gender identity, is when I'm wearing skirts. I'm not really a dress person. I wish I was. But the thing with being trans for me is that, like, my shoulders, I'm always an XL. But then when it comes to skirts and stuff, I'm a medium. So dresses would be a nightmare to even find a good one. But skirts kind of put that in that ranking for me. Thigh highs. It just ain't me, chief. Now, if it's lingerie, I have experimented with that. Super cool. I think it's like, yeah, it looks super pretty. Thigh highs, it's not for me. And I think that this is going to bring a point that you're probably going to see in this tier list is I am 28 years old. And so for me, I think that like, for example, when there's a lot of girls that do the whole, what is it? Like the e-girl type of aesthetic. I think that they look absolutely gorgeous. And if I would have transitioned when I was in my early 20s, I would for sure have gone all into that style. But I think at 28, I try to think of, well, I don't really have youthful beauty anymore in the sense of being, 22 to like 26. But it's like, I like to think that now I have matured femininity, which is you're still beautiful, this and that, but you dress more for your age. So I have nothing against thigh highs. And if I had a boyfriend, whatever, I wouldn't mind wearing them. But for me, I think at 28, at least for me, what feels most comfortable for me is kind of that idea of expressing my femininity through a more matured lens of someone that's closer to 30. But that's just me. Okay, next one. Let me see which one I could even relate to. You're short. Yeah. Once in a blue moon, and I'll tell you why. For me, I think it was funny. Being gender fluid, when I was a dude, 5'6" was kind of like, damn, if only I was born 5'8". And I've never had an issue dating because of my height. That was never an issue that was brought up. But being a guy, you want those, you want to be a little taller. You want to feel more, you want to feel more, whatever. What is it, like alpha or whatever they talk about. Nowadays, I think it's such a blessing that I am 5'6". But it is kind of that thing where when I do feel like a dude, because I am gender fluid, when I do feel like a dude and I'm around people that are taller than me, I'm kind of like, what the fuck, dude? I look like the little friend. But then I have gone on a date with a dude that was 5'8". And yeah, and it was just a really nice experience. He was 5'8", I was 5'6". I was looking up at him, and I kind of got that experience of what it would be like, to be more of this short girl, talking to a dude. But as you can understand, there's nothing wrong with height. There's a lot of beautiful women that are really tall. Zendaya, I think, was taller than Tom Holland, or Luke Holland, not Tom Holland. So it's like, so it's not really a big issue. So for me, I would say once in a blue moon, just because, with my fluidity, it's always kind of up in the air on how I feel. Okay, next one. Dysphoria, it ain't it, chief. Now, who would rank dysphoria any higher than like the lowest of the low? Dysphoria sucks. I mean, I haven't shaved in like 2 days, so I have a little bit of stubble, but that I feel so much better once I shave it, and then the euphoria comes back in. Dysphoria, it attacks in times where you're not really expecting it. And I think also a part of dysphoria that comes for me is like rumination on the potential of what if I were to be detransitioned because of health or because of finances. And then that imagery of like my body slowly morphing back to what it was before. That shit it haunts me. That stuff is like some of my fears. So yeah, dysphoria sucks. I can't imagine anyone placing it higher. being hit on once in a blue moon. For me, I guess basically like in dating apps, if the dude is a gentleman, and I'm fortunate that the first date I went on like 2 months ago as a trans person was really good, and they treated me so kindly, and they were gentlemen, and they didn't try anything creepy. But being hit on especially on dating apps, is like you could have hundreds of like, not followers, hundreds of likes, but the majority of them, it's like they'll fetishize you, or they'll be weird, or they'll spam you. And so for me, it's like if a genuinely nice dude shoots his shot and is just honest, then hell yeah, I love it. But if it's like just any random dude, no, no. All right, next one. Let me see. Femme voice. I would say, and I can't even say what's in a blue moon, but sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes in my car, I do practice voice training for, I would say, probably like maybe 5 minutes. And then I'm just like, okay, it's cool. Maybe I would use it on dates. Maybe I would use it for certain occasions. But it's just not me fully. I feel like sometimes I can be so expressive. And part of being so expressive is I like to sometimes have a deeper voice, have a, more masculine presence. So for me, once in a blue moon, if you can sound femme, it kind of feels nice, but I'm not too focused on that. All right. I'll do a couple more and then we should wrap up this video. Let's see. Try to see which ones I can relate to. Oh my God. Estrogen is like beyond comprehension. Like, I always think that for how much estrogen gives us, it is so crazy. One, that some people get it for absolute free. They don't have to worry about blood work, finances, health. Their body just loves estrogen, and it produces it homemade. But for taking a little pill, the amount of things it can like help manage, clear skin, hips. And the part that not a lot of people talk about is like, I know it's seen as a negative, but the fact that you have lower libido, to me, that's one of my favorite parts about taking estrogen in terms of mental effects. Just because as a dude, I feel like your whole life, most of your life is get money, get status, and, fuck whatever moves. Not having that be at the focal point of every part of your day really allows you to just enjoy life through a more clear-headed mind. So it's like I'm not always, in the mood. Like my libido being controlled makes me feel more human rather than this like ravenous, I don't know how to say the word, beast that's, trying to sleep with anything and any opportunity that comes. So for me, that's one of my favorite parts, is the fact that estrogen, yeah, it gives so much good effects, and all you have to do is take a pill. Sports bras. It ain't me, chief. I tried buying sports bras. I even bought like a really cute Nike sports bra. But I found it a bit uncomfortable. It's not really my thing. I'm more for the crowd of free the nipple. I haven't heard that slogan in so long. But for me, it's like, that is my crowd. It's like, man, I don't want to wear this stuff. It constricts me, and I'm still able to run just fine without a sports bra. So that stuff just is not me. But I do own a couple. I doubt I'd ever wear them, but they are there. I tried it. Long hair. Okay. Yes, I made the right decision. And I'm going to say that because I think that you guys can relate. Once you get your hair long to a certain point, now I have cut it, and this kind of goes into the point. Once you get your hair long enough to a certain point, you get to this phase where it's like, yeah, but how would it look like if I just chopped it like this? And you're like, oh my God, that looks so pretty. And so you're always constantly between this dilemma of, some days you're like, oh, look how long and luscious my hair is. And then other days you're like, yeah, but if I cut it short, it makes me look more femme. I would like it more. So for me right now, it's like, I'm happy I didn't cut it too much, because I did go scissor crazy, and my hair used to be like up to here. And so I did cut quite a bit, and I actually wanted to cut more all the way up to here. But I kind of ended it right here, and now I'm trying to grow it out again. So long hair, I would say I made the right decision. But sometimes I do feel that if I put my hair back, it makes me look more masculine, because like the hair being poofy on my back, it makes me look more like a dude, like broader back, broader shoulders, things of that sort. So it's not so crazy. I've always been used to having long hair. Yeah, and sometimes I would want a shorter cut. So it's kind of all up in the place. Next one. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's any last ones. Being called cute. I mean, once in a blue moon. I get that a lot, so I don't really care about that one too much. I'm trying to see. Okay, these are the ones that just aren't for me. Like the head pad and the good girl. There's nothing wrong with it if that's your thing. And I think this goes back to the point of like matured femininity. For me, that's more like I can imagine maybe high school romances. If I would have been trans then, that would have been something really cute. It almost reminds me of like animes where they kind of ship two couples together and one's kind of mean, but once in a blue moon, you know, he warms up. That's not me. I'm 28 years old. I'd feel really weird if a dude patted me in the head. Yeah, I much rather have different forms of affection. That's not a fucking head pat. And then the good girl thing, no, it's just not me. Next, but if it is your thing, you know, again, that's completely fine. It's just at 28, it's just not really me. Let's see. We'll do like 3 more and then we're out of here. Skirt goes spinny. Obviously, yes, I made the right decision. That's what made me realize I was trans to begin with. So that's what kind of started this whole journey. I think we'll do a last one and then we'll call it. We'll keep it simple. We'll just do, oh wait, wife. Okay, low key. This one is like, shut up, let me enjoy this. Sometimes I do fantasize of a future where I do have like a super nice, awesome husband who's super silly, super cool. And, you know, I'm 37 years old, so I would have femmed up as much as, you know, estrogen would allow me at that point. And then, you know, have 2 adopted kids. To me, that's kind of the future that I cling on to now, that I think keeps me going when things do get hard. Especially being that before, you know, I was a men's little fashion YouTuber and I had really tried to fit into the box of just being this masculine dude. Part of transitioning, part of the hard part of transitioning was thinking, well, that means that I'm not going to be able to have my own kids. That means that I'm not going to be able to, you know, be a dad that I had sold myself that dream of, oh, you know, you'll grow up and you'll be a dad. I'm not going to be able to have that. And so for me, you know, being able to still keep that dream alive through a different perspective, being more of a wife, that to me means a lot. Okay, hopefully this video helped you out. But with all that said, be safe. Have a good morning.